In memory of Mr. L. Nimoy's passing, any thoughts? Okay, this is actually how I first heard about Leonard Nimoy's passing in this note, which I then had to immediately confirm by looking it up. From my understanding, he had some sort of lung illness, which led to complications and his eventual death at 83. This was very sad to hear. Not that I was necessarily such a huge fan of Star Trek. In fact, I've only seen a handful of episodes when they were rerunning it on Sundays. They used to rerun old episodes. Not to say that I couldn't see why the series itself had captured the imaginations of just so many people. I mean, even then, the material it really held my attention. And of course, Mr. Spock himself have just become so ingrained in the pop culture that you can't help but know that Mr. Nimoy was such a recognizable and charismatic person. Okay, just a quick rundown of my exposure to, Mr. Nimoy. Like I said, it's ingrained in the pop culture, so I've heard of all the Spock jokes and Live Long and Prosper and all the different variations on that. But the first time I think it really sunk in, of course, Monorail episode of The Simpsons where, of course, the city of Springfield, or the mayor, had him be one of the guests for the inaugural, say journey when it's a monorail, ride, go around. Oh, well, I'm not going to let my grammar belay the point that it was a really funny episode, and it was kind of a double-edged what was going on, because, Nimoy leans down on the podium and says, this spaceship can do at least warp 4 or something. And of course the mayor goes, and may the force be with you. In a bit of meta humor, Leonard Nimoy says, you don't even know who I am. And that was true. That's true. I really didn't know who he was. It took me a few years later to appreciate that joke. Of course, I didn't know who the Little Rascals were either, so, he was great in that. And of course, did he return for the, which one came, okay, yeah. I think it's Monorail first, X-Files next. And this is weird, actually, because the day before it was announced that Leonard Nimoy died, I just started thinking of the Star Trek episode of Futurama, just out of the blue, and I spent most of the day just remembering the jokes and just kind of laughing to myself. It's still one of my favorite episodes. It was a good kind of reunion special, or damn near close to one we're going to get. And that was my first exposure to him. Or so I thought, because, and this is where my personal experience with Mr. Nimoy comes in, I really, really love, in fact, it's my favorite performance of his. He played Moundshroud in The Halloween Tree, which I actually did a little small miniature review on a list for the my top 11 or top 13 weirdest Halloween specials. I also talked a lot about Jonathan Winters in that video. Now, I guess that's my most depressing video that I have in retrospective. But as I was saying, he played Mr. Moundshroud, which, if you don't know the story about the Halloween Tree, it's basically 4 trick-or-treaters try to track down their friend who may or may not be a ghost. Well, in the cartoon it's pretty much implied that yes, it's his spirit, and he's trying to get back his soul, which he may or may not have made a deal with Mr. Moundshroud, who may or may not be death or the devil or something. I don't know. It's not clear in the cartoon, and it's not clear in the book, which was written by Ray Bradbury. Wait, am I saying that? It's not the same guy that made Star Trek. No, that's Roddenberry. Okay, never. Anyway, it's a really charismatic performance, and it sounds completely different from, well, I guess I would assume, if I had any exposure to it, I guess Spock. It sounds different from Spock, sounds different from the one voiceover role he did in the Transformer movie as the new Megatron. And what else? What else did he do? But the point is that he was just such a charismatic, playful, menacing, and since it was written by Ray Bradbury himself, there's just so much poetry in the book and in the movie, and it's just wonderful the way Leonard Nimoy delivered it. And it took me years to figure out they were even the same person, even after I realized the impact that the man left on pop culture. Took a while for that to click and realize, oh man, that's him. And now that I realize it, I can kind of pick it out, but it's such a different character from, of course, Mr. Spock or kind of roles he's played. And of course, we all know about the infamous, I guess he did something on Bigfoot, but I'm more or less thinking about how he introduced the world to laser discs. Even then, he was kind of playing Spock. So when you look at his career and then that voice role, it's a big contrast, and that just always stuck with me. It stuck with me without even knowing who it was. And then knowing the contrast between that and that Mr. Spock is the same guy. It's amazing. And if you want to, go check it out. I mean, they've got some decent clips online. You can watch it for like $3 on YouTube. I've never used that service, or if you buy it permanently or what. Like I said in my review, it was a Hanna-Barbera production, but it was Hanna-Barbera right when Turner Entertainment bought it. So instead of being released to theaters, it was just kind of sent to VHS at the time. I don't think it's got a DVD release, unfortunately. Oh, no, one thing I did learn, he was one of the villains in Kingdom Hearts, which really surprised me. I only played the first two, and then it went on to PlayStation 3, which at the time, that's where I kind of fell off. And for some reason, I just never looked it up on YouTube. And that's what I did immediately when I heard about this. And isn't that always the way? When you lose someone and you go back and look at all their other stuff that you didn't know about. He plays a villain in Kingdom Hearts, and it's actually a really good role. But I don't know, you can actually tell that he had maybe trouble delivering his lines or breathing. Which it suits the character kind of, because he is, like most things with Kingdom Hearts, it takes a little while of thinking, and I've just recently saw it, so I don't really know what the villain's deal was. He was like an old Keyblade master, and he was trying to start another Keyblade war, because apparently a lot of, peace came out of that. So he was thinking, okay, well, if I start another war, then something even better will come out of that, or he wanted to be young again. I'm not sure. Like I said, I've just watched a few clips on YouTube, so I'm going to have to look at it more extensively, but it was a great performance. But back kind of what I was saying, you kind of tell he was running out of steam, and that's just my own I'm sorry if that sounds harsh or insensitive, but it's sort of my own idea of rationalizing, what's going on. He was 83, had a good run. My grandfather died at 82, so. But anyway, like I was saying, it was another punch to the gut. It's always a punch to the gut when you hear about one of the celebrity dying, especially since it just kind of pops up on you now. It's all on social media. Either you're scrolling through something and it pops up, or you open up your browser and it's right there. It's just, but in summation, Leonard Nimoy, a great actor, great man, and just say, Godspeed.